That's it for Valen. Valen's not coming back. So I said, what do you mean Valen's not coming back? I said to her, she's going on a Falcon, isn't she? Yeah. Valen is getting all geared up and ready to go up in a Falcon a little bit later. I'm not sure if we're going to catch it on the program, but she's going to be in one of the aircraft that does the formation rides. Isn't that stunning? How's that for an experience? I think she'll be possibly one of the first presenters to be able to do something like this. So I wasn't joking when I said that our young Valen is an absolute adrenaline junkie. I'm glad she's here. Otherwise, I would have been thrown into one of those, and I'm not sure I could have handled it. It was bad enough for me going onto just a tiny little vessel a couple of meters off the shore. Isn't that terrible? I know, I'm a bit of a sissy, but I did jump out of a plane. I'm forgiven, aren't I? All right, thank you. So, as you heard Ayanda saying, this event is free. It's access to everybody. You got to come out here. You got to see it. This is massive. It's the very first time that it's being held here on South African soil. Never mind South African soil. It's African soil. It's never been here to the continent before. It's an event that's been held around the world before, but not here in South Africa. So this is just something absolutely fantastic, and it's open and available for everybody. I've actually got the program in my hand. So it starts off today, and it's got a wonderful practice runs that are happening today that you can view if you are here in the area. So you'll be able to see all the air displays that are taking place. It'll start off from 1 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you'll be able to see that here on the beach. And then from tomorrow, the program starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. Parachute jumps. The Durban Sky Grand Prix SA Pilot Qualifying Contest. That'll start at 9:45 to 10:30 in the morning. 11 o'clock, we've got the Durban Sky Grand Prix, another qualifying test between Pilot 7 to 11. That's from 11 to 11:45. Then from 12 to 1, there's another sequence that takes place. So all day it's taking place. There's just so much happening on the beach. And then, of course, on Saturday, there'll be parachute drops. And then the finals of the Grand Prix will be taking place there at 5 o'clock of aerobatics. That'll be the prize giving that takes place. But the freestyle competition is around about 3:30. So this is happening the entire day. There's also at 4:15 on Saturday, Gripen fighter jet air display and the Team Yak Attack air display parachute drop. So you name it, it's happening here. If you're in this area, you better get down here and put your eyes up to the sky. But not only the sky, the sea and the land. But there's a lot that goes into organizing something like this in terms of the security side, because the security side is a massive, massive thing. And to talk us through this is Charlie Marais, who is the Director of Safety for the event. Good to have you, Charlie. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you, Leanne. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
And it's nice to see you again, because I just want to fill viewers in on our trip that we took to Bloemfontein, and those are the visuals that we opened the program with the skydiving, and you guys were having that air show there that was obviously cancelled due to the passing of Madiba. So it's good to have you here. I'm glad that we could continue this broadcast.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. It's about time.
It is about time. In terms of safety, I mean, this must be very, very, very intense.
It is very intense. It took a phenomenal amount of, this is quite different from what we've done before. So we had to look not on the air side. We did not just look at, for instance, if somebody goes down on the ground, but now over the water, it's a brand new ball game. And we needed to make sure that we've got enough people there to do the rescue, not just on the land side, but on physically the air side as well. So a lot of effort has gone in, a lot of people has worked extremely hard, and yes, no stone has been unturned. In fact, I think I said to you before, from a blue bottle sting to somebody that is submerged in a canopy that we've got to open, we've really catered for everything.
I mean, this is unprecedented. We've never had something like this before. So how much planning has actually gone into the safety side of this?
Well, 6 months and a wad of paper this thick. The amount of, it's just incredible. There's a lot of people coming to Durban specifically because of the long weekend. And then to ensure their safety as well as the pilots and the display safety, it took just a phenomenal amount. And there's many people that's got to be satisfied, but mostly, obviously, the safety of the people and of the display pilots. Yeah.
You've got a background in flight examination and pilot training, so I mean, we've seen the visuals of Valen yesterday going in these aircrafts, and it looks like fun. Yeah, it is fun, but the safety behind something like this, I mean, this is this is dangerous stuff we're talking about.
Yes, it's very dangerous stuff. You know, flying low, everybody thinks, that it's an easy. To get to the level of the guys that you're going to see is literally years and years of training. Normal pilot training, obviously, and after that, aerobatic formation training. And then everybody is subjected yearly to a phenomenal amount of medical tests. This morning we were already validating everybody that's been flying here, and we'll be doing it for the rest of the day to ensure that the pilots are sharp and ready for that. So there's a phenomenal amount of training, and as I said before, you're only as good as your last performance, so you've got to keep it up, and we are there to make sure that the pilots keep it up. They themselves are very, very professional, but then when something goes wrong, obviously there's got to be an exceptionally professional team on the ground to be able to support them. So it's a safety holistic approach this time. Air, sea, ground, the whole lot.
Having it all covered. Let's talk about the air. I keep talking about the air. We'll come down to the other areas as well. In terms of the amount of aircrafts that are going to be up in the sky at the same time, is there a limit that is allowed at the same time, and how many can we expect to see? I mean, earlier I think there were about 6 in the formation.
Leanne, the formation or the separate acts that we have when they fly together, that is not our problem, because they've practiced and they are in the same group. They speak to each other. But the area behind us here, just beyond the pier, is where we're going to have the sterile area of about 600 meters, and you will see that there won't be any swimming in the front here allowed. And that is for pilot safety and for rescue purposes. But the amount of aircraft allowed in the display box at any time, will only be one complete act, and that will be the whole formation necessarily, or single acts. No other aircraft from anywhere around will be allowed in here. An ATC, and we've got the best in the world, and they will definitely ensure the sterility of the air, because that is all that goes about.
All right, finally, we know this is an event that's for the public. It is free for the public to come here and view all of this. But obviously there's some rules and regulations, and particularly for the public to be safe. What are some of the things that you're asking them to do?
Well, the first thing is they must come and enjoy themselves, and enjoyment unfortunately goes with a little bit of discipline as well. We have closed down the beach behind us here, and nobody will be allowed to swim. And the reason for that is to keep a sterile area between the performing aircraft and the people. So all that I ask is, guys, if anything goes wrong, we've got so many professionals. We've got the NSRI, we've got the police divers, we've got about 50 lifeguards. We've got 911, everybody is around, so please just stay where you are, secure your own area, and let the professionals do their job.
All right, Charlie, thank you so very, very much. Good luck. I know it's going to be a difficult weekend for you to manage, but like you say, all the professionals are here and you've got it covered.
They're all here, and I must just say to everybody that's been working here, and a special mention, the guy that is closer to me is going to be the director of the show, and that is John Neal. And I just want to say to him, thank you very much. It's super working with you guys. Awesome. And thank you to RASA and CAA.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, that's it. I'm glad we could be here to witness it. And again, while we're on the thank yous, thanks to you guys down in Bloem for treating us to an unbelievable time that we had on that day, that you made us experience so many things in Bloemfontein when we were skydiving and looking at the simulation, the flight simulator and everything. We look forward to coming visiting you again. Thank you. Thanks so much. All right, that was Charlie Marais, the Director of Safety. All right, now, these gorgeous aircrafts that you are going to have a look at now on your screen again, these fantastic Falcons. I mean, they just are something to behold. It's one thing looking at them on television, but to actually be here and see these babies up in the air doing their thing, I must say they're absolutely amazing. Now, the South African Air Force has been around for decades. It was actually formed in 1920 and is the oldest air force in the Commonwealth. And since its inception, it has played a major role in peacekeeping missions all over the world. It has also assisted in many relief and rescue missions in Southern Africa. So joining us now on the program are men in uniform. And ladies, you're going to enjoy this because, you know us, I don't know, there's just something about a man in uniform. There is. I'm telling you, men, it's a secret. It's a big thing. Us women just love men in uniform. Musa Mbogota, who's from the South African Air Force. He's a fighter pilot. And Gijs van der Walt, also a fighter pilot. Gentlemen, welcome to Morning Live.
Yeah, thanks very much. It's nice to be on your show.
Yeah, it's good to have you here and all dressed to the nines. Were you flying a bit earlier, both of you?
Actually, we flew yesterday. We did a practice yesterday, and we're going to do another practice this afternoon, depending on how the weather plays along.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So, are you in the? Are you just fill me in? Are you in the Grippens or are you in the fight? What are you in?
We are both Gripen pilots, operating
okay.
from Air Force Base Makaro at 2 Squadron in Limpopo.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's nice to be by the sea.
Yeah, it is nice to be by the sea, isn't it? Because this is quite unprecedented, because we were talking to Charlie a bit earlier and he was saying that, something like this doesn't happen very often, that you have these air shows over a sea, so that safety has to be quite an issue as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the first show that Grippen's doing in this area.
Yeah.
We've been here during the World Cup looking after the airspace, but I think this is the first Grippen air show in Durban. So it's a nice opportunity for us.
It is a nice opportunity. I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm here. We are capturing it. Now, the South African Air Force is a massive organization. I mean, it's not only made up of pilots. I mean, it's just there's so many different divisions. Just give viewers a little bit of background. I mean, what happens there?
The Air Force, like you say, is a large organization with multiple people playing critical roles. For us to get into the air, you need logistics people, in other words, technicians, making sure the aircraft are ready and safe to fly. You have command and control people making sure that from the air all things are sorted out. You have human resource people making sure that just for us to get here, the logistics are sorted out to be able to get here. It's a whole group of people working in teamwork in a structured format to make things happen. And we just happen to be the front or the visible part. There's a lot of people who do excellent work that are not visible. Yeah. And in my mind, that's what makes the Air Force an exciting organization, because the teamwork is just what really keeps me in the Air Force, actually.
How long have you been in the Air Force for?
This is my 21st year.
Wow, 21 years.
Believe it or not.
Oh
yes.
my gosh, it sounds like I'm flirting with you, but you only look 21. I know. Gijs, let's talk to you. I mean, you obviously, how long have you been in the Air Force for?
I think this is my 17th year.
Your 17th year.
Do I look 17?
No, you look 21 as well. I mean, this is a calling. It is a calling. I mean, this is not for everybody. What made you want to go into this?
I think fighter pilots are born, not made.
Yeah.
Most of the guys that fly with us, and women, they've been dreaming about doing this job since they were 3 years old. So it's something, I don't know, probably it starts very early on. And you need to be fairly dedicated to get to Gripen in the first place.
Yeah.
And then the training is
intense.
It's pretty intense. So you need a lot of dedication. And if you've not been dreaming about this, then you probably will not sustain and go through all the training and get to where you become fully operational in the aircraft.
I can imagine it's one of those things where everybody dreams of being a fighter pilot. The classroom in the beginning is full of these eager young individuals, and then when it comes to actually the end, there's probably about 2 or 3 that actually make it. Am I exaggerating, or is that the case?
It is the case. The thing is, most kids want to be fighter pilots or firemen in the beginning. It's an exciting career, but as people grow, maybe their dreams start to fade. The rest of us are the ones that were the diehards. We're just pursuing the dream. And to be quite honest, I believe we are living the dream. It's one of the few jobs that you just want to get to work every morning and you are eager to fly. It's just amazing. In my opinion, it's much, much better than what I ever expected it to be. And I just want to keep flying I mean, doing what we're doing, serving our country is amazing.
Yeah. It's an honor in a way. It really is. I mean, one feels that way, I'm sure, every day that you wake up.
I mean, when one of the highlights last year, we bid the former President Mandela farewell, and it was an achievement from the Air Force side. The Air Force came to the party, and we were doing airspace protection. We were doing the fly past, the missing man fly past. We did the best we could in a very short period of time, and the professionalism of the people that you work with to be able to pull it together and make sure that everything works as per clockwork. I think it's an amazing part to be part of. It's one almost get emotional just talking about it. Yeah.
It's very impressive. I mean, we were watching it from the sidelines, and of course, being from the broadcaster side, we saw exactly what you guys were doing, and it was impeccable. It was almost flawless. So congratulations to you guys. You mentioned a bit earlier about female fighter pilots. Now, I'm talking to you two guys. How many female fighter pilots are there?
Well, currently on Gripen, we have Siren, Catherine Labiskachny. She's qualified a year or so ago. Currently, she's not at the squadron. She's doing an instructor's course down in Langebaan.
Yeah?
Training as an instructor.
Yeah, getting training as an instructor and then instructing for the Air Force. And I've got no doubt she'll be back pretty soon at the front end.
So not many. I mean, you talk about Siren, but not too many. I imagine it is intense for women, or am I just being a sissy?
Well, I think you probably ask her that question.
Yeah, I think it's doable. It's not out of the ordinary to be able to do it, but you need a special type of person to do it. It's not only unique to females, also unique to men. You need a special type of guy as much as you need a special type of female to be able to do it, because it's physical. You need to be decisive. You need to also sometimes be bold and face your fears. It's a combination of multiple things. You also need to have a certain degree of intelligence. You also maybe not too intelligent sometimes. So it's a combination of a package that you need in a fighter pilot. In my mind, it's immaterial whether you're female or male, but you need to have those qualities to be able to do the job, because the aircraft doesn't know that I'm black or I'm female or I'm white male. It doesn't care. When things go wrong, you need to be able to respond. You need to respond promptly, and you need to be able to know what you're doing. It's you alone in a cockpit, in a high-performance machine, and you need to know what you're doing. We carry weapons, and when you're carrying weapons, you need to know what you're doing. And you can do a lot of good, you can also do a lot of damage. So it's you need a well-rounded individual to be able to do that, I think.
And responsible, most certainly. Samurai and Midnight, those are your names. How do you get these names? I know I've got a rap, but I had to ask you, how do you land up with your names?
Do you want to take that on?
Oh, is this like a secret?
In my case, I guess I'm a little bit darker than you, so I guess that answers that.
Okay, so that's the Midnight. That's the Midnight Samurai.
There's a couple of things. Obviously, Samurai is the way of the warrior. So,
Yeah.
each of us have an aspiration that we'd like to live up to. Yeah. And the guys at the squadron, you nominate three names, and then they choose for you. So there's a bit of a ceremony around it, and most of it's secret, so we'll leave it at that.
Oh, we'll leave it at that. Those are their names. It's on their shoulders. Here's Midnight, here's Samurai, and you heard about Siren, the lady fighter pilot in the SAF. Stunning having these guys. Thank you so very much for talking to us, and I love your helmet. I mean, look at this. Look at that thing. Love it.
To protect your head, and it's also a communication tool. It also helps you in terms of G-forces. It's also very light, because if you are pulling 9G in a Gripen, which is 9 times your body weight, your head all of a sudden, instead of weighing maybe 8 to 10 pounds, it weighs 9 times that, which means you will not be able to lift it. So when you're pulling, for instance, when you do the display, I'm not even able to raise my arm, because I don't have the strength to raise it when you're pulling a lot of G. So it's very physical.
It sounds like it.
So you need
it does.
the kit to be able to keep you alive up there, and also to supply with the oxygen. As you see here, you've got an oxygen mask.
Yeah, the oxygen mask as
you
well.
have to breathe through
Okay.
this thing. And
all right.
so we pretty much, that's our life.
I have to leave it there. I want to carry on, but I got to leave it. So we got to wrap from this side. I think we're going to go back to the Johannesburg studios now.